BK Sansel here with
Jamal Ford.
And today we're going to be talking about some of the largest contracts in sports and if players are actually worth the hundreds of millions of dollars they're making. So Jamal, as you might know, the big contract everybody's talking about is Mike Trout, $430 million over the next 12 years to play baseball.
I think whenever I first heard about this contract, I had to look at my phone twice. Like, did they really just give this man this much amount of money? Personally, I don't think athletes deserve as much as they make. I'm not going to say that they don't deserve money at all, but the fact that he just got paid $430 million over 12 years and anything could happen to this man. He could get hurt or, he could just play bad. He might not be worth the money that they're giving him, but out of that $430 million, he's guaranteed a good chunk of it. And I just think that it's just crazy, honestly.
Yep, and it's definitely a large amount of money, and it's interesting when you start comparing it to other professions because, of course, you talk to a baseball fan, and I'm a baseball fan, they'll say, well, it's hard to hit a major league fastball. It is not an easy game to play by any means, and that's why he's getting paid that much money because there's nobody else like Mike Trout that can play baseball at the level he does. But are you going to say that being able to hit a baseball is worth more money than being able to perform open heart surgery?
Yeah. I honestly, I see where people, take into account the entertainment factor of it. But when you have someone who's making $66,000 per at-bat while the average household is only making $61,000, I think that people need to take a step back and really look at how much we're paying athletes.
Yeah, and I mean, that's crazy right there. Like you just said, he's making more in at-bat than the average U.S. family is making in a year. And he can strike out. He's sit there with the bat on his shoulder, and he's getting $66,000. And then also, if you're to argue, that maybe they should put a cap on how much players should be paid, that's reasonable because you got to think Mike Trout has endorsement deals. Like, he's making more money than just this contract. So that's something to take into account.
Yeah, I think that him as well as LeBron James, who's also making a crazy, ridiculous amount of money in 4 years for Los Angeles Lakers after the contract he just signed. I think endorsements do play a big part. He's signed with Nike, and it says that he's just now eclipsing the $1 billion mark in career earnings, but that doesn't take into account endorsements. He's probably been blown that out the water. And I just think that athletes like him and Mike Trout and Bryce Harper there needs to be a limit for athletes like that.
Yep, and the teams are going to continue to pay these people as much as they want to pay them until a limit's put in place. So I think if there is any change that's going to come into play, there's going to have to be a salary cap put on how much teams can pay players because you got to think, $430 million a lot, but spread over 12 years, and this is a team that's worth $2 billion annually. So they can pay this amount of money, and they're going to continue to do it. But think where else that money could be going. If a cap's put on, and then that might give them more incentive to spend their money to actually help stuff that's going on in the world and donate money. And I'm sure Mike Trout will donate some money to help people, but he's not going to donate all $430 million. So it's definitely, there is a large gap there. When you look, even the highest paid doctors in the world are making $300,000 a year. Mike Trout's making $200,000 a game.
Exactly, and I think that people need to look at what that's saying to our general public. Like, are athletes really more important than doctors and police officers and even soldiers fighting for our freedom overseas in other countries? The average MLB player makes a median salary of $1.32 million. The average NBA player makes $2.5 million, and the average NFL player is $860,000. All of which are more than many doctors, lawyers, police officers.
Lawyers. And then you think, not even talking about the high-paid jobs that aren't playing professional sports. You talk about just a teacher. Teacher's average income in the state of Virginia is a little under $55,000 annually. Don't you think they would like some of that wealth from some of the sports players to trickle down?
Teachers, they're supposed to, their job is to teach, the future. They teach future people or future
I mean, if you really want to get deep into it, Mike Trout wouldn't have been in position if he didn't have a teacher along the way to teach him how to read and write.
If you really want to be honest, everybody needs teachers.
He wouldn't have been able to sign the contract if he didn't have a teacher. So you got to think.
But yet, there's arguments going on now that, teachers are underpaid while athletes are, in my opinion, overpaid. They're making entirely too much. And I think that, like you said, that money could be used, spent towards something that actually benefits, Americans in the long run.
Yep.
That's money that they could put towards, climate change or really anything else that could just benefit, actual Americans, instead of they use that money to spend on entertainers, just purely for entertainment.
Yep. And, I think, like I said, it's just going to keep going until someone puts a stop to it. And if they had put, say hypothetically, the level's $200 million, Mike Trout's going to be able to live the rest of his life comfortably $200 million.
Yeah.
And then there would still be that leftover $230 that could go into actually giving people money that need it, people who are, not making nearly enough money to support their families. So the leagues should probably come in, step in, and do something. And I think eventually they will, because when, it's only a matter of time until you see the $500 million contract. And then...
Well, the crazy thing about all this is that despite the money that they're making, professional athletes still continue to actually ask for more money.
Mm-hmm.
For example, in 2011, the NBA had their lockout, and because players felt they weren't getting paid the amount that they should, and the NFL had a lockout in 2011, I believe it was too, for the same reason. All these players want more money, and it's ridiculous that someone who's making, $430 million over 12 years could actually want more money. I'm not saying Mike Trout specifically wants more money, but just in general, people that are making this ridiculous amount of money are asking for more, while teachers can't even get paid.
Yep. And I think that's just human nature. They're going to continue to ask for more money as long as they think they can get it. But when push comes to shove, maybe someone should put a stop to it and maybe start paying the teachers a little bit more. So we'll see. But that has been me and Jamal's opinions on this topic. Jamal, you have anything else you'd like to add?
Final comments. I think that athletes aren't really deserving of this much money, and I think that people should really take a look into it. But other than that, that's all I really got.
All right. Well, I agree with you. Thank you for listening.